Everybody, welcome back to another episode of UHS Presents, and we'll get to the Matt's Monster Movie Monday part here, but first we gotta talk about some news. Do we have any news today?
Sure, yeah. So we've been running Cthulhu's Hard to Spell on BackerKit. It has 1 day left, less than 24 hours. It's doing great. We love you guys. That's about it. We have received some complaints from people who don't want to deal with BackerKit. They don't want to back it on BackerKit. And because of that, we've decided to basically, once the BackerKit closes, launch it on Kickstarter. So if you aren't backing it because you don't like BackerKit's system, Wednesday early, we're going to just relaunch it on Kickstarter for 2 weeks. So if you want it, because we have a lot of project followers that aren't converting, and we'd love to see you get the books. So we're going to open it up on there.
Yeah, there's a cat punctuating everything you're saying with yowls. Like he's just screaming.
Your sound blocking thing is working well then, because
it is. I almost feel I don't want you guys to think I'm crazy, because there is a cat screaming in the background, and you would totally be able to hear it if I turned off my sound blocking app. So Katie's here. Hey Katie, thanks for joining us. And J-Man is also here. Hi J-Man, thanks for joining us. Yeah. Well, yeah, Katie said she can't hear the cat. Yeah, it's good sound blocking software. It is good stuff.
It's magical.
It is. I mean, some of the shit that goes on here, like you guys used to be able to hear the train and stuff too, remember? No more train, because we got good apps here, good software. Excuse me. I'm never gonna get rid of my Rona cough, man. Nobody warned me about the cough hanging out for like 3 weeks to insert end time here. Yeah, like, is it just gonna be always? Because like I'm hoarse and I'm coughing all the time now. That's just what happens. Anywho, I guess we should just get into it then. Yeah, because we got our news stuff done, and let's get into the monster part of it. And bring on our guests here. We got Matt. Matt. Welcome, Matt.
Hello, everyone.
And Caston's here joining us too as well.
Hi, guys.
And stuff and things.
I'd like to bring us in, if I may.
GAMERA. GAMERA is really neat. GAMERA is filled with meat. We all love you, GAMERA. But then the second part is a little more fun. Has sort of a Georgian Ira Gershwin feel to it. Shell, teeth, eyes, claws, scales, breath, fun. It sort of sneaks up on you. Boo, it says. GAMERA's enchantment still grows. He fills our hearts with love. GAMERA's the latest thing. He fills our hearts with spring, spring, spring. Anytime you want some moonbeams, GAMERA is the thing. GAMERA is really neat. He is filled with turtle meat. We all love you, kill it.
Bravo!
Yay! How many years have you been wanting to do that, Matt?
14 and a half. To the day.
And in case folks don't know, what's that from, Matt?
That's the Mystery Science Theater 3000 lounge singer cover of the GAMERA song from the older movies. Because GAMERA has this really bopping tune from the 60s films. GAMERA, and the Mystery Science Theater guys just made up a bunch of lyrics. And then, like, by the fifth GAMERA movie they did, they were doing like lounge singer covers and stuff. And yeah, it's It's a fun time. Hence the bow tie.
And I like your green background. Is that for GAMERA or is it for Godzilla?
It's for GAMERA because GAMERA is the one that's actually green. Well, Godzilla's green sometimes. Okay, I'm not getting into it. I don't have the. Thank you, Jahed 9. I'm gonna move my No, I'm just gonna look at the camera.
There you go.
Nice.
What's up,
J-Man?
Yay!
Oh, there was a whole slew of comments that came in while you were doing your little performance here. So
Red Star Father.
Look at that, just so you get the clip by itself, so Matt can post it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna need
nice.
That. Oh,
no. Megatron 1384. Yeah, it's COVID. Gotta love it.
I'm the only person I know, unless Lori, that has never gotten it. I have not gotten it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was up there. I was with y'all. I had never caught it, and I was having fun, not being sick with COVID. And then I got cocky, and I went to a hockey game. Oh, that rhymes. I went to a hockey game because it was my friend's birthday thing. Like she goes and does it every year, and I was like, I don't need. It's cold in there, and there's not that many people in the party pit where we sit. I don't need to wear a mask, and I should have worn a mask.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely say going to like a sports event or something. Oh, good for you, Katie. It's also admittedly a bit of a crapshoot because I got friends who they do everything right. I mean, that's what. When I got it back in 2020, it was just this like thought we were doing everything right, and then just and I think I got it when Cass and I went to Houston to,
and I didn't get it.
But Cass didn't get it.
But I'm OCD about my mask, like OCD.
Yeah.
I'm not. If I'm getting out of my car at a public place, it's already on. Like I do not. And now it's just a contest. Who's gonna last longer? Who's gonna win? Am I gonna, beat COVID for another year, or is it will sneak up and get me sometimes? We do lots of it. I went to Japan and still didn't get it. It's just that's a lot of people there.
You aren't going to get harassed in Japan for wearing a mask, though. We get a lot of crap here for wearing a mask. That's the problem.
So I have a question, Sarah. Does somebody actually do people actually give you shit to your face for wearing a mask?
Yeah, they were. We go to the grocery store or whatever after. It wasn't so much when we were having the worst of it. Everybody was in a mask, and they were requiring it in businesses. They never required it in the whole of the state. But multiple states around here, they didn't nobody was doing a big state order, but all the businesses did, so you had to wear a mask anyway. And then nobody gave you shit. But then when everything started to relax, everybody immediately stopped wearing their masks, and then they're they started to give us crap for wearing our masks, and to the point where I was just like, you know what? I don't is it worth it? I don't even.
Go ahead.
We also discovered the magic of ordering the groceries online and then pulling the car up to the store and they put it in your trunk and we don't have to deal with any people when we grocery shop, which is, now that I know that, I'm kind of mad that I didn't know about it immediately because it's so nice. Not dealing with people is so nice.
Yeah, you think in Texas we get harassed for wearing masks. Austin is definitely more liberal, but going to College Station, Aggie Land. I have my sparkly belly dancer mask, and he always has Godzilla, and we have really fun masks, and so it kind of, I guess, maybe puts off people from oh my god, why are you wearing a mask? To oh man, that looks really cool, and it's not about wearing a mask; it's about the cool mask.
Maybe it's my white privilege showing, my white male privilege showing, but I can't help but think, because no one's ever kind of gotten up accosted me for wearing a mask, but just just as an adult, if another, and I've said this to Cass a few times, I'm just if another adult talks to me that way, I don't know if I could stop from just going for the throat. just leave me alone. Like, don't. I don't know. I
think that might be definitely probably white, but definitely the male part, because somebody would make a shitty comment to me, and because I can't help myself, I make a shitty comment back to them about minding their own goddamn business. And that's usually when the harassment part starts. So like I bring it on myself in that they are like, I mean, it's debatable, yeah, because like I'm not hurting you by wearing a mask. I'm not hurting you by anything I'm doing, because I would never do something that hurts other people like that. And why can't you just let it go?
Yeah.
Just grow
Start
up.
singing the song, Matt.
What?
Start singing the song. Let it go.
GAMERA. No. Okay. That's the only song in my head right now. But no, I don't know. I mean, we could talk about this for another 5 hours, I'm sure.
Speaking of GAMERA,
talk about the boy.
Oh yes, it has lots of creatures.
Hi, Kyron. Kyron has a show on Saturday morning. Is it Saturday or Sunday? It's Saturday, I think. Saturday mornings, and he's a part of the Agents Geekdom. So yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, I was gonna say y'all have a really great, like, it looks like there's a really solid community of people on the Agents of Geekdom channel. Like, this just I love seeing it. I chime in every now and then, or at least I pop in on every now and then in a lot of the videos. But anyway,
yeah. So yeah, today we are talking about
my boy, my son. But yeah,
Godzilla hear you say that.
He knows what this is. But anyway, so we watched for Matt's Monster Movie Monday, which I love that intro, by the way. That was,
great
as
job.
the kids say, fire. But yay! So I love that. So we watched GAMERA, Guardian of the Universe, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. I've been wanting to show GAMERA to the Monster Monday crowd, to our crew, for a while now. And I was debating whether or not I should have started with one of the Showa GAMERA movies, because to truly fully appreciate GAMERA, you've got to like see some of the older stuff, and to see where we started and where we are, like where we went, because old school GAMERA is just so goofy and it's so campy in that MST3K kind of way, but still really charming. Like, I still really like those movies. And then you have Guardian of the Universe, which just kind of comes out of nowhere, and it's just like, oh, excuse me, may I be amazing at you? So, yeah. How do we want to for me to give the rundown of it, or does somebody else want to give the rundown?
We have. So did I show Mr. Monster? So
Mr. Monster
showing up.
That's sweet.
Matt's biggest fan. And Kyron did Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern time. Yes.
Right on.
And Katie said, I almost came back from Comic-Con with a Godzilla toy, but I didn't have enough money to get it. Oh!
Katie!
You should have said something. We would have pooled together and PayPal'd your ass. I mean, come on.
Or I'll just send her one, because I have like 900 Godzilla toys. So I'm sure
that is fair. Yes.
Anyway, the ones that
toy collection is a deep rabbit hole.
It really
Be
is.
Careful.
I mean, it's like
It's his retirement fund.
Like, what's that, Captain?
It's your retirement fund.
Yeah. Third of it's in the garage, so I can sell it to pay my taxes. Yeah, that would be. Yeah, I had a couple of and you know what? I'm not going down that rabbit hole. I'm sorry.
No, we can talk about that after later. Katie's got a new show that she's gonna probably do a Godzilla art of some sort at some point.
I want her to do the Kama Sutra. Do the best art.
She already decided what she's doing this week, so we'll have to talk about the Kama Sutra stuff later.
Need a list.
I'm not. Yeah, we'll see.
List.
We'll see. I'm not sure if Katie's down with that, but you know.
So GAMERA.
Right.
Yes, GAMERA.
Does anybody else want to do the rundown of the movie? or should it fall to me since I've seen this movie 500 times?
I feel like this one is definitely on you. You did say favorite movie of all time or something like that. So, yeah.
Okay. Brevity. Remember brevity.
Okay.
Have you had your meds?
Brevity. No meds. So let's do this. Gamera Guardian of the Universe, or Gamera Giant Monster Dogfight, as it's called in Japan, as you do. It's from 1995. It's a reboot for the Gamera franchise, which is about a turtle. And the big turtle is the hero. Unlike Godzilla, whose morality is ambiguous at best, chaotic neutral alignment for Godzilla. With Gamera is typically the good guy. Except in his first movie when he was a murderous machine of destruction, but saved one random child, and then the studio was like, that's our angle. That
kid was the only good person.
No, the kid is a psychopath. He spends the rest of the movie putting himself and other people in danger. Gamera is my friend. Gamera is my friend.
Are we gonna watch that one?
You have it. You can watch it. I think we've got other stuff we're gonna watch.
I have to. Yes.
Yeah, that seems like we should definitely have that in our brain holes
lineup. So fast forward to that was 1965. Fast forward to 1995 when Gamera Guardian of the Universe comes out. So the basic plot of the movie is that there are these creatures start showing up kind of around Japan. You've got this floating thing in the sea that's just kind of it's just this big rock floating in the sea and people don't know what it is. And you've got the Gauss, these giant bat creatures that eat people. And the government decides, well, the Gauss are like this endangered species. We have to catch these things because we can profit off of them. And so the characters try to capture the Gauss. Meanwhile, Gamera, the big floating rock in the sea, turns out to be a big turtle. And Gamera shows up and is like, no, and starts trying to hunt and exterminate the Gauss. The government is like, well, that thing's big and it causes a bunch of property damage and affects our economy. So let's destroy that and keep trying to capture this thing. And Gamera, in the meantime, forms a psychic connection with this high school girl named Asagi. And it all culminates into this big final brawl in Tokyo. And as is their wont. And it's revealed that these two creatures are from this they're leftovers from this ancient civilization where the Gauss were like a bioweapon, and then they started proliferating out of control, so they created Gamera to destroy the Gauss. And so that's why Gamera's the good guy, Gauss is the bad guy. And that's the long of the short of it. See, I can do brevity.
You did. You did very well.
Was good, yes.
Yeah, thank you. So initial thoughts, anything anybody's burning to talk about, which you should get that looked at.
Lori, I know you went down a rabbit hole. You always go down rabbit holes for these movies.
I was right there. I was ready to say something, and then and then you made it go away.
Oh,
have you had your meds?
I have. Well, I've had my meds, but it doesn't really seem to do much as far as remembering things.
I guess the rabbit hole on this one that I went down, which isn't so much related to the plot of the movie, but the larger Gauss was the first female suit actress.
Yes.
Which was super exciting. And she was also supposedly in the movie as the reporter. So you see her face.
A bit part.
Yeah.
Didn't know that. That's cool.
But yeah, that's so cool. And now I want to get in a suit and run around and stomp on shit.
Did you
watch if somebody could
the scenes? Or Matt, is the one that they have the behind the scenes stuff on it or not?
They should have some behind the scenes stuff, because the one I have is the Arrow Blu-ray, which has like all of the special features.
Speaking of, do you want to show your cameras, your box set that you did, Matt?
Oh yeah, I worked on the Arrow release. Like this is the.
Let me put you in solo here again,
the standard edition.
This thing is cool.
Yeah.
Look at this thing.
You got the
Super
Showa edition here, and then you have the '90s version, which is the one we watched. The 90s and the 2000s. Oh no, Gauss fell over. And then that's that. And then I have, okay, this is the big one that I did. I also did the cover for this one, and it's like this. These were sold out before they even hit shelves. Like,
oh no, kidding, yeah.
Like, look at that
comics,
thing.
It's got like behind the scenes, and my this one for me, I'm getting it covered in autographs. I even have that's Asagi there. That's her autograph.
That's Steven Seagal's daughter, right?
Yes. And then I have the steel book for the trilogy. So
Awesome.
I didn't buy all of these. These were I got these in my contract. So
You're welcome.
As you should.
Well,
yeah.
But yeah.
Mr. Monster
right.
said the female suit actress has the roar, which
so adorable.
Is it in the extras, or is it in a YouTube video that you sent us? I can't remember.
It was a YouTube video.
It was a YouTube video? Okay.
But it's in the extras for GMK as well. That was from the first movie we watched. But draw Godzilla, Katie. Do it.
The kaiju.
But yeah, and to your point, Laurie. So it is the Gauss was the first kaiju to be portrayed by a woman, and I remember for the Blu-ray I interviewed the suit maker Tomo Haraguchi, and I asked him, like, I asked him. Because a lot of fans will ask, like, oh, fans will make assumptions like, oh, well, they picked a woman to play Gauss because it's a female monster, and and like, I'm like, I don't know about that, guys. So I asked the man himself, and he was like, yeah, that didn't really, it wasn't really anything to do with that. We were just trying to find the smallest people we could to fit inside the smallest monster suits we could make. So we could fit inside this tiny set, because we only could get the small set. We couldn't get the big set because we ran out of time. The schedule got all messed up, and they were like, I guess we're using the smaller sets, and oh God, make the suit smaller. But yeah, that's I just think it's really funny. I don't know if she played any other monsters, but it is nice though. It is nice. I wish I could remember her name. I even researched it for the commentary. I can't remember her name.
I think it was Yuki something, and I can't remember her last name.
I want to say it's an M, like an M last name, but yeah. But Cass and I were watching some of the behind the scenes, and she was getting mad at Higuchi-san, the director, because he had the temerity to direct the actors.
Okay, there's a difference between directing and what I saw as, I don't know, unappreciation for what those suit actors was putting up with. Like, this dude is obviously covered head to toe in sweat, has to wear goggles because of all the sweat. And the guy, there was no, oh man, great job, or anything. It was like, you need to stand higher. You need to stand higher. Your face needs to go over the buildings. I don't know. It just rubbed me the wrong way.
It's
very strict.
The problem is that it's one out of context clip.
Yeah.
Because and as I was telling her, the problem is that it butts up against, you're having this pain in the ass job butting up against the Japanese work ethic of do your job and don't complain. So. Yeah,
I guess I'm just very, I wouldn't even say American, because America, we like working our people to death. I'm just a dirty hippie, as my father calls me.
Right.
Everybody should be treated the same, with respect and equal.
Yeah, I mean, I think I heard once a Japanese director actually, or somebody working in the film industry say, Well, in America, the director is like the president. You know, everybody votes and everybody has a say. And in Japan, the director is the emperor, and you don't question the director. But that's I think it's a vast oversimplification. Every director is different.
That's why they need to get one of those loud Americans on set of every movie to just be the loud American when something's not going great.
Well, apparently that is a gig in Japan in office.
I know, it's amazing, and I want to know how you get that job, because I can totally tell your boss he's stupid for you if you're gonna pay me.
Oh no, they're not going to go that far. They just want you to ask him to
tell you that he's wrong.
Cooler.
Like say like this thing that you're doing is a bad idea.
It's like, sir, we could really use a water cooler.
Air conditioning, please.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other thing that really blew me away was the soundtrack. I cannot
beautiful
believe
soundtrack. Absolutely.
how fucking good it is. Holy shit. Like I want the soundtrack too now. I want them both, and I want to just listen to it while I ink. Like, it's amazing. It's so cool.
We didn't even actually finish the movie, and Jeffrey had already looked it up. Like, he found he already has himself a copy now, and he's like, we didn't even finish the movie. He's like, I gotta have this. All right. Yeah.
Now,
and
what else did you say that he worked on? The guy that did the soundtrack?
Oh, Ko Tani. He worked on. Well, he did all three. He did all three of the Gamera trilogy movies, and he did Shadow of the Colossus, which is one of the greatest video games ever made. He also made. He just did a soundtrack for Gundam Wing and Outlaw Star, and yeah, that's okay. Rad Star Father, we're gonna put a pin in that. We're putting a pin in that whole thing.
Diablo 3 he also did music for.
He did Diablo 3? I didn't know that. That's dope as shit.
Yes, I know.
He even came back and he remastered the soundtrack for Shadow of the Colossus, the remake. So, and the dude is actually more known for doing like rock. Like, he uses a lot of guitar riffs and stuff. And I remember I actually got to see his music performed live at a G-Fest a couple of years back.
Cool.
And he got up on stage and said this is the first time, I believe he said it was the first time his work had ever been performed live.
Wow.
Like, and he was just like, he kind of didn't, he was like, he didn't know what to make of all this. And it was very sweet, because whenever the Japanese creators come over here, they don't expect people to know who they are or know what they do. It's to Rad Star Father's point, we were talking about Higuchi-san, who's the special effects director, and Kaneko-san is the overall director, the drama director. And he also helped make the story and stuff. And Kaneko, these were like his first crack at like a kaiju movies, because he wanted to make a Godzilla movie for the longest time. He even like sent the producer of Godzilla a Christmas card back in like 1992 and was like, "Can I direct a Godzilla movie, please?" yeah. And the producer was like, "Uh-huh." Well, no, he wasn't a dick about it. He was just very like,
yeah, pat.
Well, the problem is that Toho, especially at the time, it's a little different nowadays, but at the time, Toho didn't bring in outsiders to work on Godzilla. You started like at the bottom of the company, you worked your way up, and then eventually you might get a Godzilla movie. But guys like Kaneko were kind of outside of the system. They were a little more mercenary, or So when Kaneko got offered to do Gamera, he was like, "Well, I guess I'll do this because I guess I'm never going to do Godzilla, so I guess I'll do Gamera." But that turned out to be the best thing for him, because these movies were so well received that then Toho gave him a Godzilla movie, and that was the movie that we watched for the first episode of Matt's Monster Movie Mondays.
Awesome.
So second. But yeah. But then anybody else have any other thoughts they wanted to You know, Sarah,
just how much I hated all of the men for obviously wanting to keep the gal so they can make money when it was obvious that, you know, GAMERA was the good guy, yet they wanted to blow up GAMERA. They want to blow up GAMERA because, as we were talking yesterday, Matt said GAMERA was destroying property and the gals were just eating people.
And gals were only killing people.
Yeah, and it's like
people are so much easier to clean up. Like the gals were they were cleaning up after themselves, really.
Except for those big old piles of disgusting shit they left everywhere.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Oh, that was whatever sound effects they used for that scene was awful. I don't know if y'all were seeing my face.
I think we were all kind of going.
It was awful.
And me, since I've been watching this movie since I was a kid, I was just like, it's poopy.
I was like, that looks kind of like bread dough. I kind of want to play with it. It looks like bread dough.
Ew! Well, it sounds like they got a big old tub of oatmeal and we're just kind of squishing their hands through it to make the sound effect.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It was too perfect.
I wish I had asked Haraguchi-san next time we go to Japan. I'm going to ask Haraguchi because Haraguchi-san has this bar that everybody likes to hang out at, and I think he converted like his downstairs of his house into like a bar. And we next time we go there, I'm gonna ask him like, how'd you guys make the poopy? Because because I asked him when I was interviewing him for the Blu-ray, I asked him what can you remember any? I asked him like some specific anecdotes, like specific memories from filming, and he's told the story about there's a scene where the Gauss babies have all been like ripped apart. And because they all tried to eat each other, basically. So they said in order to get those bones and get that like that look, they said that they got KFC. They got KFC chicken,
which is very popular in Japan.
Which is that's right. KFC is super popular, and they were like, okay, eat all of it off the bones. And they got the guy, somebody was going around with a bucket and collecting all the bones. They went and they buried the bones in an anthill so that they would pick the rest of the meat off, and then they boiled it to get everything else out of it, and then they used those bones to like make the little dead Gauss baby bodies. It's one way to do it.
Inventive, yeah. It's probably cheaper than making them from scratch out of sculpting materials of any sort.
Meal.
And they got to eat.
I asked him like, what did you feel like? I asked him like what his feeling was once like the filming and everything was over, once the work was over, and he said, I was just glad it was over. He was like, the schedule was so tight and we had so little money. We were just oh, it sounded like it was rough. They were trying to make GAMERA's face. They were trying to make GAMERA's head at one point, and the director was like, he caught Higuchi-san, the special effects director, like in mid-flight, like, Higuchi-san, I need to know how big are GAMERA's fireballs, because we need to make it correspond with the mouth. And Higuchi was just like, I don't know, like, and then he just walked off. Like he said, like about the size of like a grapefruit, like the size, like about this big, and then he just walked off. And like, so
helpful.
Fun times on kaiju sets.
Nice.
Yeah, but
some questions.
Okay.
Oh boy, epic eye roll.
Let's start with that one.
Okay. So there was a proposed Godzilla versus Gamera in 2004 by the company that owned Gamera approached Toho and said, "Hey, we think it'd be really cool for Godzilla's 50th anniversary. Let's have him fight Gamera." And Toho was like, go away. Because like Toho was happy to distribute the 90s films, but Gamera was very much the peasant kaiju. And they already had a plan for Final Wars anyway, so whatever. I heard some rumors that some of those ideas were shuffled around and reused in some other projects, but I can't speak to that. So yeah. I think the closest you'd get to Gamera versus Godzilla is Gamera the Brave, which is the one about the little baby Gamera fighting the big, nasty lizard monster. So, anyway.
Oh, man. Oh, that's not a question.
Yeah, I'm assuming, like the big bowl of oatmeal sound. I mean...
It's so gross. It's the worst.
It was, I mean, impressive because they obviously meant for it to sound and be gross, and they nailed it. It was like, ugh, it was pretty gross, yeah.
And then this, I agree. Yeah. Like, I almost cried. Like, I was like...
I know!
Yeah, and the music, like, it's all the music and the actors and the whole, and the script, like, it all joins together and it makes this moment super epic. It's a very good climax moment.
Kaneko and Higuchi have experience working in anime as well, so, or I know Higuchi did. I can't speak necessarily to Kaneko's, at least I don't think so, but there was a lot of anime influence on this movie. You know, Higuchi did the storyboards for Evangelion. That's why he's Hideaki Anno's best friend, the creator of Evangelion. And then, let's see. Oh, yeah. The screenwriter was the same as a screenwriter for Ghost in the Shell. And so just this thing has anime fingerprints all over it. Yeah.
Yeah, it has the most anime vibe out of all the ones we've watched so far, for sure, and in a really good way.
Yeah, agreed.
Well, man, wait until the next two, because I mean, it gets to a point where it's like, okay, so this is just anime. Like they really push the they just really push the envelope, because the Godzilla movies in the 90s were. I mean, they're fun, but they're a little bit kind of samey. Like, they're all kind of the same, and they're not terribly creative as far as, like, the effects work goes, because they're just kind of... It's a lot of, like...
They're very MST3K.
I wouldn't even say that. Like, see, they're not goofy enough to, like, really make fun of with MST3K. Like, the old school Gamera is, like... Oh my God, you know, because they're so brutally, unbelievably earnest in how goofy they are. Like, no, we're having fun with our buddy Gamera. And it's like, yeah, you go have fun with your buddy Gamera. You sing that song, goddammit. And,
like the gif where he's swinging on the gymnastics pole. Because that...
Yeah, the
he's just swinging.
So...
I thought it was fake. It's not fake.
No, it's in one of the movies.
Yeah.
Gamera plays his own theme song on the back of another kaiju. He grabs a rock, and he starts hitting the other monster in the back with these armor plates, and it goes doom, 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 and he starts going doo 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 doo, and he just starts dancing. I love him. He's my son. But
yeah, anyway. He might be my favorite. I really like Mothra, but I don't know. I don't know. He's coming up now. I don't know. Yeah. I love him.
Yeah. Does Mothra have any of that campy shit coming up? Because I do like me some campy stuff, but also, I mean, Mothra's really pretty. I don't know.
Mothra is handled with a lot. Mothra is handled always with a lot of reverence and a lot of like respect.
Yeah.
And a lot of like, look how beautiful she is. Look how godly she is, and that's great. Like, I mean, the Mothra trilogy from the 90s is definitely goofy, but Mothra doesn't really do goofy stuff. It's more like goofy shit happening around her.
Okay.
But Gamera is like all about the goof, except for in the 90s trilogy where he's deadly serious. Knife head. I guess since I'm the only one who's seen like all the Gamera movies, although Kasten has also technically seen all of them.
Yeah, we did a marathon of 3 of them back to back to back, and they just kind of all smushed together in my brain.
Yeah, the my favorite Gamera monster I don't want to talk about yet because the rest of the class has not seen it, so it's in Gamera 3. But does anybody else have anything else they wanted to point out or talk about?
I really like that story about the main character's audition. I thought that was really cool.
Yes, that's what I was gonna ask about before. It's like that was her. So that was her first movie was Gamera Guardian of the Universe, and then she had that whole really interesting process of auditioning and getting the part.
That's Ayako Fujitani, who is famously Steven Seagal's daughter. They had to make sure they pointed that out on the back of the VHS in 1995. I think she did a little bit of acting work before, but not much. But this was like her first like role, as I understand it. I actually have an interview with her somewhere in a copy of Sci-Fi Teen magazine from the 90s, conducted by my buddy Norman England.
Is that Teen Bop for nerds?
Yes, that is correct. It's like Gamera and Smallville. So yeah, she came into audition. And famously, or rather infamously, I suppose, she kind of had a breakdown, couldn't get through her lines, and ran out crying. Like she just got real overwhelmed and just kind of ran away. And you know, and in Japan, you know, that's super embarrassing. You know, it's a lot of shame that goes with that. But the director Kaneko, he was like, "Nah, I want that one." Because I think he didn't even know like that I'm fairly certain he didn't know that her dad was Steven Seagal, but I can't speak to that. But he basically was like, I want her like, because she has the energy I'm looking for. She has this kind of awkward but kind of stoic in a way teenager energy that he was looking for, and he called her up. It was or somebody from the studio called her up and was like, "Yeah, we want you to come back in." And she's like, "Why?" She was like, I blew it. I blew the audition. And there's like, get back in here. You'll be friends with the turtle. So, yeah.
Yeah, that was the fun psychic connection. So Asagi gets her hands on one of the Magatama, and which also is a real thing. I just thought they made it up for the movie, but I dug in. I fell down the rabbit hole too, and I was like, yeah, like prehistoric carved beads that were found in Japan, and they found their way into, you know, the also like Atlantis was mentioned in there too. So like there's a lot of stuff that's both real and fiction that they brought in for the lore of the Gamera movie here. So, but they Asagi gets her hands on one of the Magatama, and then she I don't exactly, it's unclear to me how she was told she recited a poem or something as she was holding it, and she was kind of just rubbing it with her thumb, and then she formed that psychic bond with Gamera.
So, they're going to talk about that in the next two movies. Like, kind of why. Because in this movie, all that really matters is that Gamera needed a conduit. Needed sort of a... Because Cass and I had actually recently watched this episode of Star Trek that was kind of similar. There was this guy... it was Next Generation, and it was this... he's this guy from this alien planet who...
He's a mediator.
His whole thing was that he would bond with usually a young woman, and would dump all of his negative emotions into her, which was basically aging her within like a matter of days or something. And so that he could do his job and be like Mr. Negotiator or whatever. And Cass and I talked about that, and it's like, yeah, it is kind of like that with Asagi, except it's consensual. It's like Asagi.
And Gamera took away all of her boo-boos at the end.
And then he took her pain back.
He washed her sins away.
Yeah, he washed her sins away. Gamera died for her sins. Yeah, the '90s Gamera movies are pretty intense. Like they've got some pretty heavy. One thing that they wanted to do in these movies was make them a little more intense than, like I said, like the Godzilla movies at the time, because the Godzilla movies from the '90s again are kind of they're fun, but they're just kind of, again, they're all kind of the same, and they're not really pushing the envelope. There's definitely a lot of cool stuff in them. Some of the monsters are really impressive, and there's some honestly impressive special effects scenes, but the Gamera team came in and they were like, well, we really want to push the envelope. So they were doing like, there's a lot of like, I wouldn't want to say straight up body horror, but there are like horror movie scenes in all three of these movies, like the Gauss eating people, or there's some stuff.
The puppy dog! I had to look
there was the scene where Gauss ate the horse.
Oh yeah.
The horse. I mean, it was very obviously a fake horse in the mouth of the, but like just they made it like they had, I don't know where the hell they got an audio clip of a horse doing that screaming noise that it made, but like there's a very upset horse sound in there. It was in the dog, yeah.
Yeah, but and when you're like,
I remember hearing the horse neighing, yeah.
If you watch that when you're like 8, it's a real horse, like in your head.
Oh yeah,
sure.
That would scare the hell out of me if I watched it when I was 9.
And if you have like enough of a suspension of disbelief to kind of just recognize that it's a horse and not necessarily have to be completely convinced that it's a horse.
Right.
Yeah, it's gross. Because I remember as a kid, because I had the VHS and I just watched it on repeat and, just degrading. And it wasn't until I got these new Blu-rays that I'm watching and I'm like, oh, that's a horse. Like I didn't know what was in its mouth. But
yeah, Matt felt really bad that we had the kind of the newer versions that were the the 4K-esque transfers, and he's like, man, it looks so much better, and I feel bad that they have the older ones.
Yeah, Laurie and Sarah got my leftover DVDs. But I at the time these were really hard to get a hold of, and yeah, there's in the following films, they definitely did a lot more. Like they had more money and more time in the following films, so I don't think they necessarily had to do anything with chicken bones. But you'll definitely see the polish in the next 2 movies. There's a lot more polish because they have, again, more time and more money.
I guess this movie did really well, and so they got greenlit with the bigger budget.
I can see why it did well.
Yeah, he's like, what? Sorry, everybody froze for a few seconds.
Yeah, I saw your. I think your internet might have hiccuped because you froze too, and just for me, it was just you for me.
Sucks.
But
the
internet in general sucks.
So yeah, but the hell was I saying?
That the other two, the following movies are better because this one did so well and got greenlit and got more money for the following movies.
Yes. So yeah, the whole thing was that these movies, like they actually didn't like do like amazingly massively well. They weren't like gigantic hits, but they did like solid and enough to like warrant sequels, and they had like incredible critical responses. Like people were falling all over themselves. I mean, I remember when I saw this as a kid being like, is Gamera better than Godzilla now? Just like not
sacrilege.
I know, it's the worst. But yeah. That's when the crickets start. Yeah, I don't think any of these movies are free.
It's on Amazon Prime if you have Amazon Prime. There are a bunch of kaiju movies on there, though. I am surprised at that, and I noticed that, and I was thinking that we should have checked. Of course, it probably wouldn't have been any better the DVD wouldn't have been any better than the Amazon Prime version of it. If we
I
had
have to check it out because I don't know the quality of the Amazon.
Oh, they have all your art, Matt. Of course they do.
Yeah, they use my art for the thumbnails on the Amazon Prime files and on Letterboxd and stuff. So that makes me happy.
Let me just click one and see.
I know they had Howl from Beyond the Fog on Amazon Prime. It popped up as one of mine.
Oh.
Yeah. There's so many on there right now.
Version too. Shut
up.
Okay.
There we go.
There you go.
Well, damn.
Well, there you go then.
There you go. You don't have to go into debt to watch them.
Yes, so they're all available on Amazon Prime.
I mean, if you want to like own them, because nothing you stream is, you don't own any of that. But if you want to own them, like, these sets are available now on Amazon, and like these are like the older
too.
You can't get the big cereal box sized one anymore, unfortunately. That one was sold out. Before they hit store shelves. Like, they were like, a bunch of people never got their orders because they way oversold them like on Amazon and stuff.
Wow.
So I know a bunch of people who were like, Matt, can we get more? Can I get one? And I'm like, I don't know. So I talked to my contact at Arrow, and he said that he I think he went to the warehouse or something to check and see if there were more. And then if I remember correctly, I think he said, like, he asked his boss, and his boss was like, oh no, they're all gone. And he said, and the boss even said, like, none of our sets have ever sold out that fast. So
make more. I'll get it.
Yay. Oh, it's Michael. Hi, Michael. Yeah. So, anyway, I mean, does anybody else have anything else they want to talk about? Because you know me, I will just talk about this stuff until the oxygen leaves my face and I fall over.
I really enjoy
that. Might get good ratings, though.
Character. What? Oh, we're all talking at once. Go ahead, Sarah.
I was just saying that Matt talking until the oxygen leaves his face and he falls over. It would be a good show. Might get better ratings.
Destroyer. That was a really good Godzilla joke.
Yeah, I guess. I'll give you a gold star for that one. There you go. But Casson, what did you say a minute ago?
I really enjoyed the female scientist in the movie because, unlike most other females in that time period in Japan, she really wore the pants and was a lot like me and really did not give a fuck, in the sense that, you know, these stupid men were doing it wrong for wrong reasons and they weren't listening. And she's just, how could I put it? Like, I don't want to say the word ballsy, except lady ballsy. She's very lady ballsy. Like when they're in that helicopter and the Gauss was flying right next to it, and instead of, you know, doing the stereotypical woman in a monster movie, she's like, oh hell yeah, she opens the goddamn door and gets her camera going right in its face. And that's when they also discovered that it does not like flashing lights. So that came into use later when they were trying to trap them.
Yeah, that was metal when she did that. That was awesome.
Yeah, she's a bird specialist, ornithologist.
Ornithologist.
And I don't know if I'd say Gauss is a bird, but certainly that's what they thought at the time. There was they didn't have any kind of precedent for this weird thing that showed up. So, but yeah, like. And she's very, very straightforward, very not gonna kowtow. Like she's a good character.
Dr. Nagamine has some great moments in Gamera 3, because in Gamera 2, the only character that comes back is Asagi. It's a completely new cast.
It's a little girl.
Well, you keep saying little. I mean, she's like a teenager.
Well, but compared to everybody else who were adults in the movie,
she is a child, I guess you could say.
Technically, yes, she cannot get married, so yes, she's a little girl.
Fair enough.
Yes. But she's the only one. Just for folks who haven't seen the movie, keeping clear who all these characters are.
So Asagi, the girl, she comes back in the next movie, and then she does come back in Gamera 3 as well. And then a couple of characters do come back in Gamera 3, including Dr. Nagamine, and she just has some really great moments, and it's very clear that she is written to be a Kasten. Like, I don't want to spoil it, but there's a moment when she smells some hink. She smells some bullshit. Like something's not right. And she speaks up about it. She's just like, well, that's this. Like, what are you doing? Like, and it's to like a doctor in a hospital, like a male doctor in front, in the waiting area in front of everyone. And you see this moment where he's like, oh, just like scandalized by this woman talking shit to him. And it's just, and it's clearly written very intent, with a lot of intent of like, this is a character who is cutting through the bullshit of our stratified sexist society.
With all of its red tape.
Yeah. And I mean, and she's not impolite. Like, she's, even when she meets the government officials in this movie, she bows, but she bows and just like a little half bow, but then she looks back over at Inspector Osako, who's like at that 90-degree angle. Yeah. She's like, oh, do I have to keep bowing? Oh, he's up. Inspector Osako, Yukijiro Hotaru, he is so goddamn funny. Like, he's a comedic, he's in all three movies. And so I'm so happy you guys get to watch his journey, because his journey is funny and sad.
Does he die?
What's that?
Does he die?
No, he doesn't die.
Okay. You said sad. I don't know what flavor sad.
Because it is sad. I'm not talking about it any more than that, though.
To go off of what Catherine was saying, though, I kind of wish that I had known about these movies when I was young, because, like, as a young girl, there weren't a lot of movies with a female main character that was interesting or strong at all, and like, this is pretty good. Like, I
written to be strong and independent and smart, learned. We didn't have much of that. Yeah.
Well, the only close thing time-wise would be Ellie Statler in, is it Statler or Statler in Jurassic Park?
Oh, Dr. Statler,
yeah.
But even then, she still is under the shadow of Boss Man. So,
which is funny because, man, I don't agree with that at all. But that's a discussion for another day. I'm sure eventually we'll do Jurassic Park, because I just like, man, I always thought she was like, takes the fucking movie by the horns by the end of it, and she's like, you go this way now.
I mean, she does when she receives sexism in that movie, she does also are you fucking kidding me right now? And so I do appreciate that she rebuts the sexism in the movie when she experiences it. But yeah, like, she's not the main character. And the doctor in Gamera, I keep saying Gamera. Whatever.
Fine.
Y'all know who we're talking about, right?
Pronunciations are so fucking wackadoo. It doesn't even matter. Just say whatever, as long as you get the syllables in the right order.
That's fair. Well, yeah. So, but she's a much more prominent character in this movie, I think, than Ellie Statler is in Jurassic Park. But I don't know if she's more. Nah, I don't know. I don't know if I think she's more important. Like, she does have this moment with her bird catching scheme with the stadium.
I think,
which is pretty good.
She, compared to a lot of the other characters, she's so much more out of step. Whereas Dr. Sattler is one well-written character in a sea of well-written characters. Whereas
that's fair.
Mine stands out a lot. It's not the other characters are poorly written. They're not as much of a focus as she is. But I mean, kaiju movies in general tend to be ensemble films anyway. Like, I want to watch the other two now. I actually, I need to dig out my Retron 5 so I can play my Super Famicom Gamera game.
Oh yes.
It's like a strategy game. It's like the monsters are moving through Tokyo and you've got to move military units to intercept them. I want a Gamera fighting game. Where is that? Okay. We damage Gamera. You're not drawing him, battling somebody. Oh yeah! Yeah. I did nothing but draw Gamera versus Ninja Turtles like for an entire day like 2 weeks ago or something. Like I drew a bunch of them. I have a print of Gamera.
I'm getting a screenshot of the print right now so I can send it to Sarah.
Oh, I thought I sent that to Sarah earlier, but
Oh, did you?
no, I don't think I did.
Might have. I don't know.
I did not.
Let's share that link again too.
Yeah.
Is that print in the link
Yes.
for sale? Okay.
We have it.
Yes. If you go into the comments here, we'll share it again. Yeah, there's a link to buy some of Matt's art in the comments of
Yay!
all 3 streaming platforms that we're on right now.
I do have some posters, some leftover posters of the from the trilogy. And I got a couple of Gamera posters, so yeah.
Yeah, Sarah just shared the one where they made Gamera an honorary Ninja Turtle.
Nice.
I say they, Matt did.
I did it. Me.
All right. I will upload it here and
While y'all are doing that,
give me a second.
does anybody have anything else they wanted to talk about?
What do you want to talk about? You've been asking us.
Well, yeah, because I'm just going to keep going on and on and on. But fine.
What is your biggest critique of this movie after being such a professional watcher of the whole genre of kaiju? What part do you think they kind of failed a little on or could have done better with?
Nothing.
Did I hit a nerve?
No. If I had to critique anything about the movie, I do feel like the character of what's this? I can't remember his name, but he's the naval officer who is at the beginning of the movie, who then shows up at like the Asagi's dad's house to cook dinner for them.
That was weird. And clean his house, the stranger.
Mr. Yomamori, I think he just cooked dinner. I don't think he cleaned the house.
No, he said that. He said
they were talking about cleaning. They certainly talked about cleaning.
Maybe he was saying cleaning up, like getting dinner ready and then cleaning up in time or something. I don't know.
I thought he said chores, but yeah.
But
anyway, it doesn't matter.
He has this really fun introduction. Like, oh, I get this character, I get this guy, and then his character kind of falls off after that point. Like he's just reacting, which is, I guess, it's not a problem necessarily because it gives more room for characters like Nagamine and Asagi to kind of stay prominent. But yeah, his character kind of falls off at a certain point. He doesn't get to really stand out as much as he did in that opening scene. And I guess aside from that, I just don't have many criticisms for this movie. I think that it's really rock solid. It's sort of like how I would talk about, say like Jurassic Park or one of my favorite video games, Breath of the Wild, where you can criticize things, but why bother? Like the package is so altogether is so strong, and the individual parts make it strong. It is as strong as the sum of its parts, and there's just not a lot to really pick apart. I have some small criticisms for the next 2 movies, but again, the overall package is the highs are higher. So, yeah, I'm. That's really the only criticism I can think of off the top of my head. I mean, there are some effects things, like some of the composite shots in this are not the best.
Yeah, some of it, like there was the helicopter one. There was a few of them flying. Speaking of flying, I don't know if Jeff can hear us at all, But he was very excited when Gamera took the Gauss up into outer space and did the whole, dropping him back down. Jeff was so
cool.
excited.
Oh my god, he was shouting.
It was amazing.
Body slam from outer space, motherfucker, or something like that. I don't remember. He got very excited. He did.
Instead of WWE or WWF, this is WW Kaiju.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Well, that's what Higuchi-san talked about in the behind the scenes, where he talks about, like, he said, well, we're basically doing monster wrestling. Like, there's got to be a monster wrestling scene, and getting that coordination down is really important. But it's so funny because Godzilla King of the Monsters, the 2019 Godzilla movie with Millie Bobby Brown and and everybody else, that movie, while I like a lot of what's in that movie, there's some stuff that it does where I'm just like, Gamera did it better. Like, and there's a scene where Ghidorah takes Godzilla up into the sky and drops him. And at first off, I'm not sure how high Ghidorah is supposed to be, but he's apparently high enough for Godzilla to, like, catch fire on re-entry, but Ghidorah doesn't break the cloud barrier. Like, so
that wouldn't work then.
Yeah. And the scene is like that. Mm-hmm. Like, it's like a 10-second scene or 20-second scene. And I keep forgetting it's in the movie because it's such a nothing. It's like this. Meanwhile, you have Guardian of the Universe, where they go in above the stratosphere. They go into low Earth orbit, mm-hmm. and then Death Grip. It's like, I'm taking you with me, motherfucker.
And it looked cool. Like, you can't tell that the movie had a lower budget than other kaiju movies, or they had less space. Like you mentioned, they had less space. I find you can't tell that they had less space.
Yeah,
like,
they did a great job.
GAMERA looks huge.
Yeah, and especially the right after that scene we were talking about, when they landed in the oil refinery and all those explosions. Like, I was really trying to tell, like, okay, is this a miniature explosion? But if it was, they did it big enough so it wasn't obviously a miniatures explosion, because you can just see the patterns that are in the fire look as though it is a massive explosion.
There's a story, I don't remember if it was from this movie or another movie, but a lot of those explosions have to happen on big outdoor sets. Like, they have to basically build them on rooftops, or they have to build them, like, out in a field somewhere. And I don't know if it was this movie or another movie, but one of the explosions in a kaiju movie did get the cops called on them because it was like, something's happening. There's some explosions. So yeah, this whole movie is just like, every aspect of it is so ingrained in my brain. Like, I was hearing the dub as we were watching it. And as I had mentioned while we were watching it last night, the dub was put together by ADV, which was the dub crew from Evangelion and a bunch of other anime in, like, the 90s, in the late 90s. I mean, they did a ton of anime. A bunch of people from Evangelion were in the cast. And I'm just, those voices are just in my head, because the guy who directed the dub was a huge kaiju fan, and he was like, "Oh my god!" So they just oh god, it just was. There's so many great moments. I'm just thinking about, like, when the teenagers at the school, when they go to when Asagi, it's the whole thing where she goes to Mount Fuji and stuff, and it's where that one boy runs in, and it's like, the monsters on TV, their voices are just like, it's like, oh man, they said the monsters fell off of the Mount Fuji forest. It's like, oh man, you think the military's gonna kill it after all that destruction? Of course they will. I'd love to be there when they kill it. So yeah, it's just, the voices are amazing, but, like, contradictorily, the main characters, a lot of them have very naturalistic voices. Like Asagi, whoever they got to voice her, sounds like a very soft-spoken teenager. Like all of her lines are like, "Camera." It's like, "Camera." Like very soft, and they just did a really good job with it. It's very entertaining. But yeah, so I mean, you know, we can go ahead and wrap it up. If anybody else has any parting thoughts, you know, I'm really trying to pull it out of you guys because I've been talking about this damn movie every day of my life since I was 5 or whenever. No, I love talking about it, but no, let me. If there's any more thoughts.
No, I really liked it. In the later Gamera movies, I have to suspend my disbelief a little less than I have to do with some of like the earlier Gamera and Godzilla movies. I did not grow up with them, so it's way more difficult, and I get ripped out of the reality really easily. I'm like, oh yeah, that's obviously a dude in a suit, or that's obviously a miniature or something. Whereas the miniatures and stuff in this one, they did a really good job. I could tell they were miniatures, but they used camera depth to try to, you know, I want to say hide that, but not make it look as obvious as in some movies. And I really appreciated that. And I love the fact that both of the main characters were a woman and a little girl, well, a teenage girl. So that makes me really happy.
Yeah, all 3 movies have female leads.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah?
Yes. We kind of talked a little bit about the psychic connection thing, and that's somewhat of a is it a common theme, or is it just something that's happened before?
It is a thing that sometimes happens in Japanese media where it's like, oh, this character's been chosen basically to be a conduit for the gods, essentially. I mean, even calls her a priestess at one point. So it's a thing. It's a thing. They needed a human connection. They needed a human who could connect directly with Gamera
and communicate, to have be that mouthpiece.
And then so Asagi kind of gave her energy or her spirit to Gamera in the big final battle. She grasped her father's hand, and then they both kind of gave their energy to Gamera and that was with the really good music. And yeah, you should
daughter giant Gamera.
Yeah, you should all go and watch that movie if for nothing else than that scene there. It's
good. It was good.
It's good.
Lori.
It is like the music, good.
Me?
Oh, and Lori, let's show everybody your eye makeup and explain what it is for folks that can't.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if it'll be easy to see anymore.
Say what it is.
Just
stick your eyeball into the
camera. See, look at that. It
They're
looks
little Magatamas.
So it's meant to look like the Atlantean Magatamas. There's a black dot on either side, but they're hard to see.
Oh, I see them. I can see them.
Yeah, I can see it, but yeah, it is not great on this camera. What are you gonna do?
It looks great here.
I can see them.
Freaking webcams, you need all the lumens, and then you're blind. But that's the only way you look good is if you're blinding yourself with light. That's how we do.
But yeah, I'm kind of obsessed with that design now, though. I want I don't know, jewelry of it or something. I don't know. I like the shape of it. It's cool.
I'm not gonna lie. I grabbed some.
What? Shut up. Keep talking.
I grabbed some Sculpey and I started making myself a Magatama, because I'm like, this is really cool and I want one, and maybe not quite as big as the one that she was wearing around her neck, because I feel like that's gonna get caught in shit. But but it's like earrings and a necklace.
Yeah, it's cool.
I don't know. When I researched it, I saw that there were many different types of stone and many different the subtle differences in it, but the comma shape was the big thing. But it would look so cool in just about any kind of material that you made it in. It would be great.
It was a very simple design.
Yeah, and I'm a rock gremlin. I like rocks and stones, so that's.
At first, I was like, is she talking about music or the mineral?
No, yeah.
Both.
Yeah, both of them. But yeah.
Matt, what are your final thoughts?
Well, you can listen to my final thoughts on the Gamera Blu-ray commentary track that you can get now from Amazon. I actually recorded that commentary when the pandemic started, so I was in a lot of like places while I was mentally while I was recording it, writing and recording it. That being said, one of the big things that I think is really also stuck out to me, especially like in the wake of COVID, was the fact that it really hit me in the head that, oh, okay, like, yeah, the government literally doesn't really care that Gauss is eating people, whereas GAMERA, like, if GAMERA had killed people, it was accidental. It was because he's trying to stop the Gauss. Now, from the government's perspective, they're like there are these small creatures that this other larger creature is trying to kill. We can't control this thing, but it's causing a lot of property damage. We've got to kill it. So I guess and of course, the experts in the movie keep telling this is wrong, this is a bad idea, this is wrong, this is a bad idea. But because that's not politically convenient or economically convenient, the government experts will only listen to the government people will only listen to them to a point, like right up until it no longer is in step with their agenda. Mm-hmm. So I just never really put that together when I was younger, and I'm just like, look at fucking making movies about stuff. God damn it, Kaneko and his Jesus. Anyway.
Oh my god.
So yeah, I like the movie.
Yes, and if y'all want some of Matt's art, they shared the links and stuff to it. Feel free to just peruse and enjoy it, or you can buy it. I'll be the one packing up for you, and I always throw in lots of extra goodies.
Yeah.
Yay. I do like extra goodies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that twice now the link has been put into the comments. So just go ahead and click there, and yeah, like browse through it because it's all really fun stuff. Like, why wouldn't you want a piece of this art? Come on. Anyway,
the last thing I will say is that there's a couple of things that I've been tweeting out recently that people can also go support and back and stuff. Spectre-Man Heroes is on Kickstarter right now. It's a different publisher, sorry guys, through Antarctic Press. And the Gorgo action figure that I did the box art for is also up for pre-order. And what was the other thing? Oh yeah, my I have an exclusive cover through IDW's website for the Best of King Ghidorah for like a Godzilla compilation. So go get them.
You got some shit going on.
Before we go, I have this thing here for us to have a look at.
It's the boys.
Awesome.
Friends and boys. Look at the children.
Oh, the turtles.
The toidles. Yay.
Amazing.
And the story behind it, like we talked about it behind the scenes, doesn't really matter. But that all of the turtles like ripped a little bit of their own bandana off to make a really big one for Gamera, to make him one of the boys.
Well, they started with that, and then they realized they didn't have nearly enough, so Mikey just went around stealing like big tarps out of garbage and stuff.
Oh.
So, because they wanted to make him a mask.
And the screenshot doesn't do it justice. The colors are way more vibrant and stuff, but this is just a screenshot, not a scan of the print.
Yeah, I was about to say that actually. I have a couple of these prints, and they're beautiful in person. They're super vibrant. They're more vibrant than this. They look, yeah.
This is a screenshot of a screenshot.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So cool.
Well, I guess.
And General have available because you throw up his Gamera 1, 2, and 3 posters. He did those in the last few months.
But
No, don't worry about it.
It's fine. It's in the Facebook chat.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, don't worry about it.
Are they all in that link there? Because everybody can go look in that link. It's like you should go, even if you don't buy anything, you should still go look because they're all fabulous. Fabulous. That came out weirder than I meant for it to.
Well, I appreciate everybody joining us on GAMERA. I don't know if there's anything else we want to do, or if we want to go ahead and wrap it up.
Oh, I think that.
Yeah, I think we're good for now. I had a lot of fun. This is fun, and yeah, and like
we kept under 2 hours this time.
We should have we should try and do the thing sometime where we can announce like the week ahead of time what movie we're watching. If it's like find one that's already on Amazon Prime or something that we can encourage everybody to come watch with us beforehand, so that you know what we're talking about. Because I know sometimes people don't necessarily know they haven't seen the movie yet, so like, it'd be fun to do that. If we could.
I remember I talked about it a little bit, but yeah, we can do that for the next one, because I guess we're just going to do GAMERA 2 will be the next one, and it's on Amazon Prime. So originally I was thinking like, oh, we'll do a GAMERA, then a Godzilla, then a GAMERA. Fuck it, let's just do GAMERA and just get it out of our systems.
Yeah, I want to do the next one.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, whenever we fit it in the calendar, we'll post it, and so y'all can have enough time to watch it before we do the next show.
Yay.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, so join us next week. Go buy Matt's stuff. Links in the comments, and back Cthulhu is hard to spell. I saw somebody in the comments said they were gonna get it too, and I didn't. Where did it go?
I think it was Michael.
Was it Michael? Okay, yeah. So thank you, and I hope that you love it as much as we do. Yeah. So go back it. Go check it out. uhstudios.com/backit. And I don't remember what we're doing next week. I looked at it earlier and I don't remember. So you guys can be surprised too.
Everybody's a little bit tired, so it's okay.
Yeah,
like
a little bit. Yeah,
well, happy spring equinox.
Yeah.
That one.
Oh, that is That's today, isn't
one.
it? Jesus.
All right.
Ah. All right. Well, anyway, yeah, it's like come back and be surprised at what we're doing next week, because we are coming back next week like we do, but whatever. So anyway, thank you for joining us. Thank you, Matt and Caston, for coming in and being a guest on the show tonight. And everybody have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Oh. Well, that's awesome.
Mothra! Yay!
Oh shit, mine's in the other room. Damn it. All right, we're leaving now because I'm tired of everybody showing my ass up. All right, bye.